Hi folks, Dino Bob here. We're back in the Sauriarium today, and we're going to be doing Dorset dinos, starting where we left off the last time, over by the Caparus critters. We're going to go past a shop, Padua apparel shop I had built a while ago, and down the trail toward today's habitat. This is the first time I've put animals from different time periods together, basing it more on the geography of where the fossils are found. Going by here past some more guest amenities and some new landscaping in the area, all to make it a little more immersive on our way to the habitat. In the distance you can see the Grand Hotel, which we haven't looked at very closely. And on the left you see something for the future. Right about here there's a fence to our right where you might get glimpses of the animals if they come up close to it, excuse me. Anyway, let's get back to the viewing platform. And I'm thinking I'm going to go with this kind of theme of building for the area that's going to be built around this particular habitat. So let's turn and take a look at it now. The sort of brown and sandy colored bricks is the theme, and the footprint trimmings. Sort of a modern-y look to things. On the left over here, you can see a gateway. This would be back to the backstage area, and there's a little pylon there for the crew to get in. Before we get into the habitat proper, let's take a look through the gate. I think you can sort of see a little bit through it, even just walking past it. But we don't have staff paths yet, so we'll go by that little electrical box and up the road. This would be the access to the care area for the animals. The building itself is not heavily tricked out. There's a plant that needs to go away, but just sort of laid out in a way to work with the animals. So, fences to keep them from getting into the keeper area. Another skylight, which is a feature of a lot of the shelters in this park. And minimal stuff in here right now, but bedding for the animals, and obviously the gate. And it gives you a brief glimpse of the overall layout, but we'll come back to that. So let's go up to the building now. It took a while to build this, and I apologize there's no speed build. I just, time of life, it was just focusing. There's a galumphing iguanodon. Don't see that very often. So yes, we have iguanodon in here, and also Scelidosaurus. So both of these animals are found in England, and where their original members were named. The animal that was originally named iguanodon has been renamed Mantellosaurus because the material was somewhat fragmentary, and the Belgian finds of iguanodon, which was thought to be the same animal for a long time, much more complete, many specimens, so it became the defining specimen. And then it was shown that Mantellosaurus, or what was going to be named Mantellosaurus, was different from that animal, so got a new name. So I put in the standard information screens and added a little infographic or two to further expand on these animals and fill the empty walls. We've got a handicapped elevator for our guests who need it to get upstairs for the upper viewing. So there's two levels of viewing. Something I like to do, the lower level provides sort of the all level for the big dinosaurs. You just get a better sense of just how big they are when you're down there, as opposed to when you're looking down on them. So we'll go up to the upper level, which would provide better views of the habitat as a whole. information screens and binoculars up here to see out into the habitat, which we're kind of floating over at the viewing level. They've got a pond there, and there are a couple of other water spots. Actually, you can see two in this one. In here, and in the far distance, there's a secondary viewing area. We'll be visiting that a little bit later. And rocks there concealing the care building. So let's pop back inside, cruise down to the other end, and take a look back at this upper viewing area with its trash cans and the kind of view into the park as opposed to the habitat. As you can see, nice view of the Grand Hotel, and to the right of that, future stuff to be built. I put glass in here to get it above the easy throw things into the exhibit level for guests, but not all the way up, allowing them to hear and possibly smell the animals for an experience, I guess. Anyway, time to pop out of the building, and we'll take a run down this path, and we're going to discover that it ends pretty shortly once we make the turn around the edge of the habitat, and we're going to phase through some trees. Just ignore the viewing building there to the right. That was an earlier attempt, and I haven't decided quite what's going to happen there. So this area is a special experience area. That's the idea anyway. Pretty plain here. There are sort of 3 panels through which the habitat can be viewed, and you can see 2 of them are darker. There's multiple panes of glass there, and one here where your host for the special guest experience would be able to feed the animals and otherwise talk about them for the guest. You can see a couple of them underneath the log there in the far distance over near the regular viewing area. So this habitat is bigger than, there's the log. And the overview. It's bigger than these animals technically need right now. Don't know if that will change when we get social needs for the iguanodons in and how many they need to have. The original specs from the 50 animals suggested they were pretty gregarious, and I don't know yet just how much more space they will need when they have their full crew in. I guess we'll be finding out pretty soon. Social needs was part of the next update, and the one that's been delayed for a while, and obviously this was filmed before it dropped, because we don't know right now when it's going to drop. It's already over a month later than anticipated. Guess the devs are cooking something really good, or really troublesome anyway. We'll find out, I hope soon, and then move on to the other updates, because some of the stuff I have planned for this park really needs the other updates to do what I want to do, which may result in a delay in episodes for the Sauriarium. I know for sure we'll have at least one more once the next update starts. Well, I mean, they haven't put in the herding, but these guys are working pretty hard at it. So this was kind of a fortunate... Whoop, there's another one. Kind of fortunate to provide a sense of herd behavior while I was filming the videos, which was nice. Animals don't always cooperate when I'm trying to film things, but this time they did. You can see the entrance to their cure building over the backs of the 2 drinking iguanodon. So I tried to put multiple levels for the animals in this habitat to give them a more varied environment. There's some food up on that sort of raised area beyond the rocks that you see just past the pond. And there's, of course, a feeding area right in front of the main viewing area. And this is the gully. And here is Scelidosaurus, our friend from the title. blatantly walking through a log, but we'll ignore that. Anyway, I tend to put these giant logs and these ravines in my iguanodon habitats because I've been unduly influenced by some Doug Henderson art. And that's just the way it is. I just like that image and keep hoping that the iguanodons will get their act together and provide me something closer to it. In the meantime, I have to settle for the Scelidosaurus coming down the ravine. And this is one of the other water patches. The Scelidosaurus wanted a lot more water than the iguanodons. So the iguanodons are okay with it, but the Scelidosaurus wasn't happy till he had a lot of water. So there you are in the water. And apparently he's happy enough to lie down and just have a nice rest under the water. One hopes he's a little bit more like a hippo and isn't really going to drown while he's doing that. So, a lot of cinematics this time because I think, as I was mentioning, the animals were cooperating this time and providing a lot of opportunity to get them to do something slightly cinematic, such as these two guys kind of crowding the camera. So there are, I think, 4 females in here and the male. You just have to ignore them walking through each other, so that's something we're going to have to live with. There's the male now. This is the Burrian skin, after a well-known painting by the artist. So it's got that reddish head blending into a more greenish body and pretty striking look. Less pronounced, of course, on the females. So, yeah, this is the feeding station that's up on those rocks that I mentioned earlier. And again, another view into the care building. Once you get into the habitat, it's pretty obvious where the care building is, but you really can't see it from the main viewing platform, which is a good thing. Oh, somebody else is going to have a shot at the food now. Anyway, sleepy time for iguanodons, wakey time for some. They managed some interesting framing for themselves in this clip. So, I intend to continue with the Sauriarium park, although, as I said before, there may be a bit of a delay in some episodes because of waiting on things that I had wanted to put in. Yeah, I know there's still a bunch of dinosaurs I haven't put in here yet, but there were things I wanted to get in before I got to them. But there's spaces. I've talked about it before. I think I'll be mentioning it again in the next Sauriarium video because, oh no, sorry. I'm thinking about the other park, Lost Kingdom. So both of them are kind of waiting on the new animals on the horizon, which by the original plan, all those ones I was thinking about should have been here by now. But delays are delays, and that's how it works, and that's just the way it is sometimes. So this has been longer than many of the more recent videos, and probably longer than the next couple. But lots of good animal shots this time. So I hope you've been enjoying them. Again, apologies for the lack of a speed build in this one. It just would have eaten way more than the video. And sorry about popping in and out of the plants. But there it is. So if you've enjoyed stopping by and listening to me drone on, click a like. If you haven't subscribed already, do. It'll help the channel. And make a comment. I'd like to hear some feedback from folks. Anyway, so we're closing in on the end this time, and next video on should be back in the Lost Kingdom, and we'll see where we go from there. A lot of it depends on what the state of the updates are. So until then, y'all take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other out there. And as enjoyable as PK is, go on and enjoy it. But it's only getting better from here, I think. And looking forward to it. So that's it for me now. So bye and be well.